Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and as always, I'm joined by Aaron.
Hello, everyone.
And our good friend Lynn is joining us tonight.
Greetings, gentlemen.
And tonight we are revisiting Venice, Season 3, Episodes 1 through 6. So it's the first half. And yeah, let's roll the credits and we'll get right into it.
So, first off, I have one thing to say. Crystal Chappelle's hair looks so good.
Oh, the short hair? Yeah.
Yes. I was like, girl, I'm living for this. Yes.
It did look very good.
I was a little bit thrown off in the beginning because it opened with Gina. I have to remember her name on the show. I'm like Carly. Gina
Annie.
and Annie in bed together, and they have like a little hot and heavy lovemaking scene.
I know. I was like,
and I'm like,
get it.
Am I watching the right season? Because this isn't how season 2 ended.
Right.
I had that moment too. I was thinking, did I miss an episode? And then I was like, no, that's the right one. But then, it was a dream.
I mean, I was like, oh, it's probably a dream. But then I felt like it just went on longer than I would think it would. And I was like...
She woke up just as it started to get good.
Yeah.
For now.
So we have a couple of recasts this season.
We do.
We have Eric Martzoff taking over for... Can't remember his name.
Or not Owen.
I can't remember the actor's name, but he's on General Hospital. Plays Peter.
Yeah, it's Wesley.
Wes Ramsey.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, yes.
And then we have Annika Noel taking over the role of Sammy from Gina Tognoni.
Now, is she the one that plays Hope on Bold and Beautiful?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, she looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
This
is like 7 years before she was on Bold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like nothing against...
You're right, because this was 2011, what we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against, the two that took over, but it was like a weird, just like 180.
I felt like Eric was more in character, like the same character. It felt like,
I felt like that's who should have, like, nothing against Wes. I feel like Eric kind of fit that little like troublemaker, good-looking bad boy type feel.
Right.
Annika did good too. It just doesn't feel like the same character Gina was playing.
I mean, they both
Gina
did
was
great.
like, she was in she was like working at soup kitchens and she was in the Peace Corps, and this doesn't feel like somebody that does that.
Right.
I mean, they both did a great job. I'm not, nothing against their acting or anything.
No, they do. It just doesn't feel like the same character.
It took me a minute to get used to them.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I adjusted, I was fine.
Yeah. So Owen, last we left him, he was acting out, and he had a one-night stand because he has to sabotage his relationship and make bad decisions.
Right.
So it's the morning after, and this woman is a bartender.
Yes,
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to be okay with the fact that it's a one-night stand because his phone is ringing, and she's like, guys only check their phones for two reasons: for sports and for like their girlfriends. She's like, it's too early for sports. I like this actress. I think I've looked her up, and I don't think she's been on any other soaps.
I didn't recognize her. She did good, though. I did like her as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about Venice. Like, the characters are they're well cast.
When we see Gina at the Colonel's house, one of the nurses comes storming out. She's like, I can't work here. I can't work with them. And
I know. I was thinking if the Colonel can make, and her name's Dot, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is Dot. I think she uses. I think her name's Dot in real life, and I think they use Dot on the Venice series also.
Well, I was just like, if the Colonel can make her run away, You know what, Gina? I don't know what you're gonna do.
I think she was on Glee when this was going
She
on. Also,
was.
I
She
think she
was
had
on
just
Glee.
started on Glee.
Right.
I like her.
I like her too.
Yeah, she's good.
Gina begs her to stay. Begs her. She's like, I gotta get out of here. I have to go back to work.
I feel like Gina would have started throwing money. She'd be like, "Here, take this. You want me to redo your house? I'm a decorator. I will do whatever you do. Just stay. Stay."
So she reluctantly agrees to stay. We see Alan, played by Michael Sabatino, and it was kind of fun to see him now that we're watching Chip on Knots Landing and to see him nowish 10 years ago.
Right.
It looks like there might be something forming with that older blonde woman who thought she might be a lesbian last season.
Sorry, speaking of her, it makes me think of Gaia.
Catherine.
Who, Gaia is I think she's one of my favorite characters next to Gina.
Really?
But that's, I mean,
every once in a while, I don't know if it's the way she smiles or something, but her and Crystal look like they're related.
I love Gaia's character on there, as well as the actress. I think she does a great job on Venice.
I want to play, is it Cocktails and Confessions? I want to play that. Oh my, and I want to get little nuns too. I want to go full on. I want to play that game with Crystal Chappelle.
Fun.
I like when they do the family scenes with the Aunt.
It is. It's fun to see that.
I get thrown every once in a while when they refer to her as Aunt Jane because I'm like, Gaia. Her name is Gaia. So it's the morning after, and Annie has a huge bruise on her face from her drunken incident with Lara.
Right.
No, I was almost shipping them until she became abusive.
Yeah.
Like, I was having I was like, ooh, this is going to be a triangle. I'm going to have a hard time picking who I think Annie should be with.
This is how I know I make bad decisions, because I was about to defend what happened and be like, she didn't hit her though. She was just drunk and pushed her.
Yeah, but had she not just been hammered?
Yeah, I know, you're right.
Stop being problematic, Tommy. No.
She needs to get her drinking under control if she's going to have a functioning relationship. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So she has Annie believing that she's in AA and she's getting help. And she's begging her not to leave, that she needs her, which is kind of a guilt trip and kind of trapping, I feel like, Annie.
Emotional abuse right there. To me, that's emotional abuse.
Like, if I don't have you, I'm going to fall off the wagon.
Mm-hmm. And been there. Not the one saying that, but I've been on Annie's side.
Right.
And we've been having what I thought were flashbacks, and maybe they were. But there was a moment where I wasn't sure if they were flashbacks or if they were just fantasies, like Gina's dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the flashbacks, Gina and Annie seem really happy. And I was led to believe they weren't even together that long to have had all these memories. I felt like Gina just kind of was closed off and pushed her away. And
was that when the photo shoot was happening at the beach or whatever? There was a flashback of scenes at the beach, I feel like.
Yeah, there were a few moments like that.
Okay.
Where they were on the beach together. I think when Gina was even on the beach by herself, she was remembering or having a fantasy.
Right.
That's when I think I thought it was a flashback. But when Annie did it, I felt like it was a fantasy.
I know when Gina was talking to Richard, Peter Raquel's character, I think then she had a flashback of her and Annie.
I sent Tommy a picture and was like, I got my Bo and Carly fix. I don't need them to be together. I just need to get that little seeing them together. It's because I want her with Annie, of course. But just seeing Crystal Chappelle and Peter Reckles together,
Yeah.
I feel like he tweeted that.
I did.
He did.
It bears repeating. I tweeted it, sent the message to you, and now I'm sharing it on the podcast.
Yep.
I thought it was cute, her little coming out scene with him.
Oh, I did too. So
Yeah.
you can tell they must have a good friendship,
Mm-hmm.
like in real life, because
Yes, agreed.
well, you can tell like they all clearly get along because you can feel it to me.
Yeah. I felt a little bad for him because I felt like he
was ready to settle down.
He felt like he missed out on all these years of their friendship when she could have just told him and he would have been fine with it. He had a moment where he looked sad about it. Like he was just kind of like, I lost you for all these years.
And that's something that sometimes happens.
Yeah, I know. I just felt bad.
It was I was like, it was nice for them to like mention that because
he seemed happy for her to be honest, though, too. You know what I mean? Because he hugged her and he was supportive, which was the good thing to see, too. It was just kind of funny. Richard had his scene with the Colonel, and the Colonel didn't give anything away, but he was kind of alluding there a little bit, too, and the Colonel just kind of kept his mouth shut, which is kind of funny.
Does anyone else have like little, just maybe it's PTSD when someone says your lifestyle? I don't.
Yeah, I cringed when he said that.
I mean, and it's not. That's his generation. That's what they would say. But it's just one of those things I hate when people say, "Well, I don't agree with that lifestyle."
Well, okay, so let's rewind. That scene happened because he mailed the letter at the end of season 2 that Gina had wrote to Annie, basically just writing down all her feelings and wearing her heart on her sleeve. And
which I was so glad he sent it because he's right. Gina was not going to send that letter.
And Laura got accidentally bumped the mail, and when she picked it up, she found the letter, opened it, and read it.
She saw that lip print on the back of it, and she just couldn't help herself to tear that thing open.
As soon as I saw those letters hit the ground, I was like, fuck. Damn. I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And he's not going to know now. And I'm just going to hate Laura more.
So then Gina's going back to work, and she visits Annie along the way, and they're just having a cute little friendly back and forth. And before she leaves, she kind of is like, "Why are you wearing those big sunglasses?" And Annie's kind of has her hair over her face a little bit,
right?
And she pulls the sunglasses off and sees the big bruise on her face, and she's ready to kill Laura.
You could tell she was upset and she was mad. She was on fire right away. She was holding a lot of it in. She wanted to be even more upset, I think. But
I was like, "Get her, Gina! Get her, Gina! Get her!"
But again, my toxic ass is like, "You weren't there. You don't know what happened."
What's funny is I say I'd be like, but I'd probably be right there with you. You'd be like,
"Oh, she didn't hit her." That's all I kept saying was she didn't hit her. But
we need to take you to some counseling, Tommy.
Yeah.
No.
But so Gina takes it upon herself to go see Laura. And I really liked this scene.
Well, this is when Laura she lets it be known that she's read the letter, but she insinuates that Annie showed her the letter and they don't keep secrets. And it's let alone that she's not going to AA anymore or she's gone to one meeting and that's about it, but she's weaning off of that really quickly.
Are we sure she went to the meeting? Because I don't remember seeing her go inside.
I guess anybody can walk up to the door and grab her brochure and turn around. So
yeah.
I don't
know. Yeah, and I feel I don't know. I feel Gina kind of took it they read it together and laughed behind her back about it.
I know. Poor Gina.
I just every time they curse, I'm like, oh, we're cursing. Okay.
It's weird to hear your favorite soap stars drop a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something, because you're like,
This isn't your mama's soap opera.
But it should be.
I'm like,
Right?
oh, Chloe Lane saying, "Get the fuck out of here." I'm like, okay.
Sidebar note. Did either one of you watch any of One Life to Live when it went to the online network? Because
A little.
they were dropping shit. I don't think they ever said fuck, but they said shit all the time. And I was like, wow, this must be hard for these guys because they have to hold back from saying that when they were doing the daytime one. But now that they're an online network soap, they did drop the S-bomb all the time, and it was just kind of funny.
See, I kept waiting for Beyond Salem to drop a little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
I was hoping they would go there, but they didn't.
But I think they were still testing the waters and everything. I mean,
Right.
fans got mad because Deidre Hall did the opening. Imagine what they would do if they started saying curse words.
Man, take a chill pill, people. It's 2022.
I will say, I loved when Gina and her assistant got into the argument. Like, you could, like, not because they were arguing. I was like, ooh, this gives me like soap opera chills, like what I love.
Right.
I was loving the back and forth, how it was like just done perfectly.
Yeah, so last season, because Gina wasn't around, she was taking care of her father. The
Right.
assistant had to submit something to Alan. And
Michelle.
so, Michelle, I can never remember her name.
That's okay.
So,
I'm
Michelle,
reading right now.
Michelle submitted one of her designs because Gina didn't have anything that was finished.
Which I think she thought she was helping Gina.
Agreed.
Clearly not thinking they were going to love her design.
Yeah. Well, like, like fashion houses have like designers that work there, and it could be their designs, but because they work for the fashion house, it's considered whatever that fashion house is. I know this because I'm watching the telenovela Fashion House. So,
there you go. Something to compare it to.
So I'm an expert.
One Tree Hill, when Brooke designed her stuff for the company, like it became their design, and
yeah, it could still be considered a Gina Brogno design.
Yeah,
she works for the company,
right?
But so she's been like, walking on eggshells about this because she doesn't know if she did the right thing, but she needed to do something, and Gina wasn't around. So Gina finds out that she did this, and she's pissed.
Which, do you think she overreacted? Or do you think she was jealous? What do you think was going on there? I mean,
I think she is just worried about her reputation. Like, if he doesn't like it and this is supposed to be her design, then it kind of tarnishes.
I mean, it'd be like if I was behind on writing an episode and Tommy was like, oh, here, I'm going to write it so we can get it done, turn it in. But it still said written by Aaron Wallace. Like,
sure.
I mean, if I was taking credit for that work, that's almost plagiarism.
Yeah, no, that's a good
scenario. Maybe that's why Gina's very upset, is because, not because she did it. Like, I bet if her assistant was like, hey, I would like to, give you some proofs, Gina would probably be like, sure, let's see what you got. But because she did behind her back.
I think it also depends on the person who does that. Like, if they're able to kind of detach themselves emotionally and say, okay, I know I'm not going to get the credit for this, but I'm doing this. Because I've seen storylines similar to this where the person gets in their feelings that they're not getting the credit they deserve, and this is my design, and then it all blows up.
Right.
See, I've been in this situation before where I've done video work, and everyone would just applaud my boss like crazy. And I was just like, cool. Well, I know I did good work at least, but so I understand. I see both sides. She was trying to help her boss because she was worried, because that was a big account, and Gina kept saying this is a huge account for us.
Yeah.
So
they get invited to some like event, a party or whatever with Alan and I guess some buyers, and she tells her to go. Tells Michelle to go, and Michelle's like, no, I'm not going to go. And she's like, no. She's like, you wanted to play the game. This is how you play it.
Well, because
so I feel like she was kind of being like, even though she's mad, she's like, no, this is your shot. You need to go. Like, you need to like, work and like make connections.
And to understand, that's a part of the role too, or the job. So yes.
Well, I think it may also be like, this makes it seem like Gina can't handle her company.
Yeah.
And that company's like her baby in that. But because she's been handling other stuff, she's not able to give attention to her company. So maybe I think she just feels like
Yeah.
that part of her life like is a letdown, or just
But I feel like making her go to this was, even though she was mad, it was Gina being a good friend and being like,
yeah.
no, you need to go to this for your professional career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that scene.
I gotta say though, one person I really, really love, and I can't remember his name, but
the gay guy.
yes, anytime he's with that dead body.
Yeah, we had another, because the first time wasn't it just like a
Jamie was
flashback
his
of her in like the laundry bin and him screaming.
Him right, like pushing that, yes. And this time it was one, I was like, girl, it's the middle of the day, you're getting this body out of your car.
Yeah, and what looks like a busy area because you could see other cars parked there.
But
And then, you're not even like trying to hide it.
And then Gaia's cop boyfriend is in the van with his partner, who I can't remember her name, but it's irrelevant at this stage. But they're talking about how the fact that when the body was found, the toenail polish, some of it wasn't matching shades. So obviously this Jamie touched up her toenails.
I was like, leave it to a gay man to be like, you know what? I can't just drop off this body. Girl, let me touch up your nails. We need you to look good.
But I love that the soap opera is coming out in Venice, and the fact that Jamie's at the same rooftop bar that Brandon and Gaia are at, and he's like listening to their conversation, hearing all this information, practically firsthand eavesdropping on what's going on with this case.
Oh, side note, the glasses that they had at that bar, they looked like really deep martini glasses, and I was like, those are really cute. They were the blue ones that they all had.
Oh, I just love his little restaurant. Next time I'm in California, I gotta go to Venice, and if that's a real place, I want to eat there. I'll pay what I gotta pay.
So, how great was that scene with Gaia and her boyfriend Brendan at whomever's apartment, and she turns his computer around while he's going and making martinis and sees.
Oh, wait. We have to say what she said first. She's like, I'm parched and you make the best martinis. So then he gets up and she kind of peeks at his laptop and she sees a picture of the call girl who died. Right. And it's the woman who's been paying her visits, asking her to help her.
Right. It's also her sister.
Well,
yes.
Because her sister's spirit, and this is when this is truly becoming my show. I was like, yes, I'm here for it. Her sister's spirit hopped onto the call girl's spirit or something.
Right.
It's in her house.
And and that's how like her sister's back.
Mm-hmm.
Guy explaining this, I was like, I need a drink.
So Gaia is so gassed by seeing this picture, she not only slams her martini, but she grabs her boyfriend's and slams it too.
And then says, "Weren't you gonna have one?"
Oh my God. That was
I want to drink with her.
Yeah, Bailey Smith knows how to act it, and we saw it several times in these episodes. There was just so many things. She dropped these one-liners that were so, if you weren't paying attention, you missed it, and it was such a perfect line.
I like how she has her little bracelets, her little, she becomes that character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's thinking, oh, this is the kind of character I've always wanted to play.
Yes.
And I'm not missing a beat.
I loved it. I loved it when she was like trying to unblock herself. And I'm assuming she didn't know that the call girl / her sister was sitting there watching her because her eyes were closed. And then
right.
It's like, what are you doing? And then she kind of had to break it to her what was going on. She's like, you're not telling me something. What are you not telling me? So then she kind of lightly, gently tells her what's going on. And I like the ghost reaction. I'm a hooker. And she's like, no, I think you're more like a call girl instead of a streetwalker.
Yes. But let's not dwell on the details. Oh my God.
That was a funny scene. Um,
Ugh.
so Sammy's kind of losing it over
Oh my gosh, yes.
Owen's infidelity.
She's taking it really hard. Doesn't it seem like it? I was kind of surprised. I'm like,
Taking it so hard, I think she's about to dip in the lady pond.
Which is why I was like, this doesn't feel like the character Gina Tonioni was playing. It feels like a different character.
yeah.
It was good, just different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, Laura, if you cheat on Annie.
Okay, so when she went to the bar and she had her whole getup going on, this won't spoil anything for Aaron, but Lynn, I felt like she was like, Valine, you gonna get you a man tonight.
No kidding. It's kind of true. Kind of true. But like Sammy, what's Sammy's goal with Laura? Does she just want a drinking buddy? Does she want someone to commiserate with? And then Laura's goal is like, hey, she needs a friend. I better stay here and drink. It was kind of funny how the two commiserated pretty quickly.
I think at first she was like, shit, she knows me. She's gonna tell them I was drinking.
Right.
So she tried to slip out of there.
Right.
And then I like how they both, let's not talk about that family.
Yeah.
They're ruining our lives.
So there was a scene with Annie where she was eating and she was like, oh, you're being so healthy, Annie, whatever. And they've kind of she seems to have issues with food because they've alluded to this several times in past seasons where she's like,
Yeah, I feel like she used to be a little bit overweight, it seems.
Yeah, so she seems to have like body image issues.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she
Like,
calls
girl,
her brother to wish him a happy birthday, and it's Christian LeBlanc.
I was surprised about that.
And
So
it was weird to see him with dark hair though, because I've gotten so used to seeing him like as a silver fox, and
Yeah.
does he work good as a silver fox? I think he's more attractive.
I knew he was on the show like later. I
forgot
didn't know
he
he
was
was
on it.
in this season. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he starts talking about food too, like how she would always steal the cake or something, and
Yeah, like she ate his whole birthday cake.
Right.
And you could see her getting upset.
Well,
And
maybe it was buttercream icing. I would have too.
Towards the end of that scene, it looked like she was starting to stress eat because she went from eating whatever healthy thing she was eating to eating like something that looked like it was like more like carby.
Been there.
So, so there's that. I like that they have these little things they kind of sprinkle throughout the seasons, and they kind of go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So the last scene of episode 6 was Sammy and Owen having a confrontation, and her telling him that she saw him with the girl. The girl, by the way, seems to be working alongside Van.
There's obviously a connection there, like almost dubious, like he was a plant to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to say, Wes did a good job playing like the kind of deceitful type role, but Eric, I was feeling that.
You were like loving when he Gaia comes over and he's working on his bike. He's got his wife beater on.
I was kind of like, I hope Wes doesn't come back to take over the role, because like, I mean, nothing against him or anything, but I like just I wish Brady Black would go kind of evil-ish. Like I can just picture Eric as Brady teaming up with Kristen as Stacy, and oh my god, they'd be like Bonnie and Clyde almost.
Brady went dark for a little while.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, he was kind of blackmailing Nicole into staying with him. He was holding the fact that she killed Deimos over her head because he didn't want her to leave him for Eric. So he had a little.
But there was just something about him in this episode. These episodes, I was like,
he looked like a baby. This was like 11 years ago. I was like, wow, you look like a baby.
Well, it was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy because I feel like this show hasn't been out that long, but it's been out for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over a decade.
But it still holds up to where, like, when I watch it, I don't feel like this was made 11 years ago.
Sure.
Am I missing anything?
I love their theme song. I downloaded it.
I like it too, but I feel like it changes from episode to episode. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter.
Right.
It's just like When I don't know the words. I just
When you see the cast list, though, it's so long.
because they got so many great people.
Saw Susan Flannery's name again.
I know.
Nice.
And I saw Kelly Moneymaker, which is Peter Reckel's wife, in the music.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Annie and Michelle, Gina's assistant, kind of had a good little scene too, where Annie kind of
Oh yeah,
shared some information with her about her past and her relationship and things like that too. And Michelle kind of coached her to, put yourself first and be strong and those type of things too.
yeah, I liked that scene. It was a nice scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Gaia also in the scene where she let her sister know that she was a prostitute. um, she kind of put it together that Gina. She's like, that must have been when he had his stroke, and Gina was there, which means he must have called Gina. So now she's kind of putting the pieces together that Gina
Right.
knows.
Yeah, better than the detective.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but granted, the detective doesn't know, know everything that she knows.
Sure.
Uh,
I actually really like Sean Christian on this.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
I like him and Gaia as a couple.
A couple,
They
yes.
work really well together. But in soap opera terms, Gaia is probably one of the first persons to put something together so fast.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, that must be it.
Was it fast though? It's been 2 seasons.
Well, the first season doesn't count.
Huh?
The first season doesn't count. So, she died at the beginning of the first season, and it wasn't until they found her. So she hasn't had that long to figure it out.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, I'm Team Gaia, I guess.
Gaia did go question Richard though too, trying to get some information on like what was going on at the house and in the neighborhood. And then he's joking about some neighbor having prunes or something in their breakfast cereal or whatnot. It was kind of funny, a little comical humor.
And she found an earring.
I was going to say,
Yes.
And if they would have vacuumed their floor a little more, probably wouldn't have found that earring.
Right. So then Gaia learned from Brandon that the corpse only had one earring too. So she's piecing it together as well. She's got her own.
She was admiring the jewelry in the picture, and she was like, "What?" And she was like, "I just like the earrings."
Right.
That's something you would do, Tommy. You probably have a crime scene photo looking at it. Oh, I was just looking at the coffee table. Look at the details.
Like, look at those wine glasses.
It was a good scene too, where Sammy was going to go over and visit Owen, and then right as she's about to enter his door, go up to his door, the new girlfriend's leaving, and she's like faking going over to another door, and then he sees her on the street the next day or in a couple days or whatever, and she just kind of tears into him because he's like, well, can't we still be friends and blah blah blah, and she's just all ready to go find Laura and have another drink basically.
But a lot happened in just these 6 little episodes.
Yeah, a lot did happen. There was a scene after the Sammy and Laura drinking together scene where it was Laura and Annie in bed, and they kind of have their backs to each other.
Right.
And Laura's like in her feelings, and I'm like, okay, if this is supposed to be like after that, you can't tell that Laura's drunk. You can't smell liquor on her breath the way she drinks.
Right.
Yeah, girl can't just have one.
That's why she's turned away from her. They're back to back.
Well, also, I feel like it's implying like they're getting more distance in the relationship.
Right.
Because they're pretty much like on the edge of each side of those beds about to fall off.
Yeah. And Laura's the first one to kind of turn to her and say, like, are we okay? Are we like working on this? And Annie's just like, I'm fine. I'm just tired. She's like, I'm not in the mood to make love. Don't take, like, you get it. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just tired.
Yeah.
And then she has one of those flashback to her relationship with Gina. And Gina has her back turned.
Right.
And I think she says something like, you're very closed off to me or something along those lines. And Gina's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. She's like, what, do we have to always dissect our relationship? that didn't feel like a fantasy. That felt like it was really the relationship.
I think that was real. So that probably makes Annie go, am I too pushy with my partner? You know what I mean? And she backs off so much.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, I know they're not good for each other, but I just feel like Annie and Laura look pretty together, and Annie and Gina look pretty together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like, I know they're not good. I just like the optics.
I feel like if the other Sammy came back and they put her with Laura, whew.
Mm. I think that was pretty much it.
I think that is it. I don't really have anything more in my notes that we didn't cover.
I'm excited to see how the season ends because I don't remember.
Me too.
And then
This is my first watch, so
are you enjoying it?
I am. And not just because Crystal Chappelle's in it. I would enjoy it either way.
Right.
She just takes it to the next level.
Right.
You never stood a chance. You were gonna love it either way because of Crystal.
True.
What about you, Lynn? This is your first time watching it, right?
This is I'd watched season 3 probably about maybe a month and a half ago. So I had to rewatch these episodes again, and things stuck even more. But it was interesting seeing the switching characters, but still the plot moves forward. I think it's kind of good that, like Aaron mentioned, season 1 kind of really just established everybody, and then something happened at the end of it, which was, of course, the body being found, and then it's really started to unfold. So it kind of draws you in really good. I thought these 6 episodes really spent a lot of time, still establishing those relationships, but moving the plot forward. So I thought it was really good. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. It's funny. I've seen it a few times, and I feel like now that I'm having to talk about it,
right,
I can kind of not ignore the big stuff, but I don't have to pay as close attention, and I'm noticing things I didn't notice before.
Right.
The little details, the little comedic moments, the facial expressions.
Right. Yes.
Which has also been my experience watching Knots this time around, but that's a different podcast.
That's funny.
Oh.
But all right, well, if we don't have anything else to say, I guess we could wrap this up. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.